What's going on, everyone? This is Sheets, and we're going to be going over the MLB slate, and we are sort of on a time crunch right now. We really have to get this done within 20, 25 minutes tops. So I will take questions as I can, but I'm just going to sort of roll. First of all, let's take a look at the projections and see what we should expect. And as you'll see, pitching wise, I mean, all of the projection equity and as a result, all of the ownership in DraftKings is flowing to three guys. That be George Kirby, Jeffrey Springs, and Spencer Strider. And I guess because of Springs' price, he's going to be paired up with Kirby and or Strider in most lineups. So Springs himself is going to be very, very highly owned. It's just that's the way it's going to be. Now, again, if you want to get leverage, you'll play Washington, maybe against Springs or something like that. But as far as just projections goes, it's really just these three guys. On FanDuel, let's take a look, and it's even worse. I mean, it's literally almost like a one pitcher slate in Kirby at 9,200, 800 less than Strider. Extraordinarily strong. And then one difference is on FanDuel. I mean, yeah, there's Strider after that, but ahead of Springs, at least as far as my ratings go, are Nestor Cortez and Cade Cavalli. But on FanDuel, again, I imagine that a good majority of the ownership is going to be coming from Kirby and Strider. So if you were going to hand build, that's where you would start. Stacks on DraftKings. Again, I am rating these different ways. So let's, as far as raw points go, San Diego, Seattle rate to be the highest, just as far as likelihood of scoring the most. As far as point per dollar, Washington and Kansas City look to be the top point per dollar play, with Washington being the standout there. And then when you put it all together with my modified stack score, once again, you're getting kind of Washington and Atlanta. And the thing about Washington is that you don't have that much of a big amount of ownership in Washington. So again, if I had to do this, if I was going to hand build, I mean, I'll bet you could actually play both Strider and Kirby. And then play the Washington. So that's probably in my cash games, like kind of lower risk stuff on DraftKings. It's probably what I would end up doing. We're gonna run SaberSim and see what we come up with, but that's what I would think. And then with FanDuel stacks, we'll put that up. Kansas City actually rates to be number one for me, followed by San Diego and Oakland. So again, with Kansas City being, I guess relatively inexpensive, that is, you can pair that one with any of these others with Strider or Kirby, and it's making for a pretty standard, pretty easy, low risk type approach. Now, but when it comes to higher risk and in big GPPs, you're going to have to look for some balance of good plays and leverage. So I wouldn't be surprised if once we ran SaberSim, we get something a little bit different. But we'll take a look. All right, let's take a look. Well, you know what? Maybe to be a good DFS player, maybe at the very least we should check out Roth's weather report. Let's make sure I'm not playing into terrible weather situations. And it looks like nothing. Not a big deal. So let's take a look at the slate. We have 5 games, but notably, there's a big gap between the 7:15s and the 9:40s. So you do have the opportunity to late swap, and you should certainly take advantage of that after these ownerships get locked in, and SaberSim can kind of redo your exposures in the later games if that's where you're going to have exposure in the first place. Okay. Projections and settings for the purposes of this, I'm going to use my customs, but you can use again the SaberSim projections, or if you're a TrueDFS member, my projections. I think I am putting mine up today. and Goldie, I think, has his up as well. But whatever projections you use, you know, I would not average them or anything like that. I would just be consistent with one projection set. And a couple of things I want to do here. So 5-game slate, SaberSim lets you leave 2,000 on the table. I'm going to make it 48.5. I mean, I was doing some work on this idea that you really want to only leave less than 1,000, but I'll split the difference here and leave 48.5. And then what I also am going to do is, from a stack exposure perspective, I'm gonna allow some stuff, but not all stuff. So I'm going to allow 5s, 4s as usual, and then I'll throw 4 3s in to this one as well. I don't really, and maybe even 4 2-2s. I don't know. I mean, it might be asking for it. You know what? Let's do it. We'll do 4 2-2-2s. And then aside from that, we're just going to fire. And what it's going to do is it's going to run the 5,000 lineups, actually 10,000. And I am going to be using the regular DraftKings contest fields that SaberSim is recommending to compare my lineups to. Again, I'm working on trying to create my own fields, but it's extraordinarily difficult. So, you know, for the time being, I'm still going to rely on SaberSim's contest fields to run my sims. To run my sims, to be the backdrop, you know, to run my sims from my lineups against those projected contest fields. And then the only real question I'm going to have for myself when this fires is whether I want to get into portfolio diversity mode, where I take a little less risk, or I just go straight on with playing the highest the highest ROI lineups. So yeah, we don't know exactly what we want to do. Let's just see what it comes up with, I suppose, and we'll just kind of guess. And that's really all you can do. With this new advent of this portfolio diversification tool, you know, as these things are being developed, you constantly put to the test of whether you want to utilize it or not. And I've had such success with the regular autofill and using min unique techniques that I'm very hesitant to experiment, despite the fact that, you know, SaberSim does tell me that they back tested this and this approach just seems to perform better than the straight min uniques 2 stuff. And you do see that you are getting some Washington here against Springs. I guess that's okay, but I don't know. This is where I really struggle right now in the learning cycle. Kirby, Strider, Springs. I bet you're getting some of this Cavalli and Dustin May, so we are getting a little bit different. But I'll tell you, I really think that I just want to just go back for today, at least, on DraftKings. I mean, it's not going to play that many lineups. So I'm just going to go for the highest ROIs for each contest, subject to the normal, you know, autofill ordering of operations, so to speak. And you'll see that it really just changes everything. The pitching remains the same. Actually, you get more Washington this way. So maybe not. You know, maybe I don't need 75% Washington. So let's instead, let's go back into portfolio diversification mode. Why not? We're still going to get Washington as your top stack, but you're not going to get 75% of it. So I guess that's, I don't know. I guess that's reasonable. So we go back portfolio plus, back in portfolio plus, and then you'll see that this, whatchamacallit, I think this redoes this. Why is it still at 75? Wait, portfolio plus. Do I have to oh, no, this is still min uniques too, right? So we'll put this in portfolio plus. So why is it still 75%? Oh, now it changed. Okay. So this spreads it out a little bit more. I guess I'm going to go with this today. So I'll have Washington, San Diego, Oakland. Then you'll have Kirby, Strider, Springs. But a lot of this Cade Cavalli, very interesting that I'm getting to so much of that. And I got some time still. So we'll be able to do FanDuel. And you guys can feel free to fire off whatever questions you have about this. But again, all this depends really on how many lineups you play, really. To what extent you need to be a real stickler for portfolio diversification. Like on FanDuel, I mean, I probably want to do it because I have 211 lineups I'm playing, I think. Let's see what we end up getting over there. I might go live a little later tonight, depending how tired I am, to sweat these late games and maybe do a live. I did this already earlier today, but another PGA lineup build. And I might actually do Showdown. We'll take a look. See if I have time to do that. So FanDuel, same procedure here. Except again, from a stack exposure perspective, we'll allow 4 4s, 4 3s, and 4 2 2s. We won't allow just straight 4 2s. And again, I think, even 8,000 lineups should be fine. But we'll play 10,000. And we'll go up. Again, I don't want to leave 2,000 on the table here. Oops. Ooh, look at this. Something was stalling for a second. So let's go up to 34,000 at least. And then we will build. And I'm curious to see what we get. And again, you'll see me building 10,000 lineups. Some of you don't even have access to that type of lineup pool. All I could say, I mean, listen, SaberSim, no matter whether you're subscribed through TrueDFS or Ship It Nation or Run Pure or wherever, or on its own, they charge based on, to some degree, how many, what kind of access you have to their servers. So the more lineups you build, the more you're going to pay. And it's up to you really to figure out what's affordable for you. I just like to have access to the most. So that's me. I think I play for enough money where I could access the biggest amount of lineups. But if you guys do not play that high and only play like maybe a couple hundred a night, maybe it's not worth spending for all of that. I don't know. That's unfortunately a decision that you have to make for yourself. But if you want to do the best, I mean, you'll access yourself to the most lineups because again, the more you can sim against different contests, just the better you're going to be doing. Okay. So let's see what hey Molly. So this is like, I guess, 2-minute warning when the dog comes in and starts yelling at me. Okay, so you see again, it's building, it's simming against all 3 of these contests, and we are in portfolio mode, so we'll stay there, I guess. Why is that red? Oh, it's still going. So it's 1 of 3 still. Okay, so another couple of announcements. I'm going to be doing the UFC breakdown tomorrow. And maybe some other goodies. We shall see. Football is right around the corner. And let's hit save all. Well, let's see what we have first. May as well. KC, as I mentioned, followed by Oakland, Seattle. So this is really smooth. It's really just kind of leveraging my projections here. And that's fine. But I will stress again that it's a slate where you should be late swapping. I mean, you have enough time to do it, so there's no real excuse. And we will upload here. And then that's pretty much all I have for you guys. I mean, honestly, I always try to show you guys my process as I'm doing it and try to explain it along the way. And I think this was actually pretty simple. No rain, good projections, good ownership, good clean process, didn't screw around too much. And then you leave the rest of the baseball gods and hope they're in a good mood. That's going to do it. Please subscribe to TrueDFS if you want more content like this, or even better, maybe. And that's going to do it. Good luck, everybody.